straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi and welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. On the show today, controversy rears its ugly head in football. India misses out on a chance to qualify for the Football World Cup after Qatar's controversial goal in the game last night. Fans are outraged and India has lodged an official complaint. Was it a goal at all and who was at fault? We have you covered with the visuals of what exactly went down last night. Over in cricket, murmurs of another disappointment in the Indian camp after being upset about the substandard pitches for practice. Sources in the camp say that India has more reasons to be upset. What are they? And who are the familiar faces they will be facing today in the opposite camp as they gear up to take on USA at the T20 World Cup? And what is so special about Luka Doncic? The basketball player is already a sensation and he is just 25. More on this in the show, but first a look at the headlines in Sports 360. Starting with cricket, Pakistan registered their first win in the T20 World Cup, beating Canada by 7 wickets. Mohammad Amir took 2 for 13. Despite this win, their chances to qualify for the Super 8s are slim. In another match, Australia beat Namibia by 9 wickets. Australia chased Namibia's target down in just 6 overs. Adam Zampa took 4 for 12. Australia, with 3 wins in 3 matches, sit at the top of the Group B now. Over in football, reports suggest Erik ten Hag will continue as Manchester United manager. Ten Hag is in negotiations to extend his contract. This comes after months of uncertainty over his future. In a disappointing season, United finished 8th in the Premier League and only won the FA Cup. Earlier this month, Thomas Tuchel rejected United's offer to become the head coach. Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice in Portugal's victory over Ireland in a warm-up game. Ronaldo took his international goals tally to 130 in 207 appearances as Portugal beat Ireland 3-0. Portugal will face Czech Republic in their opening game at the Euros on the 19th of this month. In golf, former world number 1 Jon Rahm has withdrawn from the US Open due to a foot infection. Rahm was scheduled to play his 9th US Open. Last week, Rahm also withdrew from a LIV golf match due to pain in his left foot. And human rights organizations are urging the International Olympic Committee or the IOC to help overturn a hijab ban on French athletes. France has barred its athletes from wearing the hijab at the 2024 Paris Games. France wants athletes to respect the country's neutrality over all religion. Human rights say the hijab ban is discrimination against Muslim athletes. First, it was the pitch. There was uneven bounce. Batters were getting hit and bruised. Sources close to the team had informed our Network18 and CricketNext that they weren't happy with the pitches on offer. The drop in pitches in practice and in the match venues at Nassau in New York. And now, of course, ahead of their match against USA, the hosts, there are murmurs again coming of another issue that the Indian camp is grappling with. Sources to CricketNext and in Network18 say that the Indian team is unhappy with the facilities provided at the hotel. Now, what do I mean by facilities? Key facilities the Indian team requires in order to stay fit and prepare for an intense tournament such as the World Cup. Facilities include proper rooms, common areas to relax in, a gym and training facilities. Sources say that the team is particularly displeased with the gym that has been provided for the players to train in at the hotel. Now, I've traveled with cricket teams in the past that have been involved in T20 tournaments. A gym is one of the most essential facilities that a squad requires. It helps in training and staying fit and recovery. It's an integral component to a team's routine, especially during a tournament such as the World Cup. The trainer makes a schedule where every player or sets of players get certain time slots that's suitable to their day and routine in which they can train in, get their workouts done. And it's different for every player, going by the profile, whether it's a batter, a bowler or a keeper. And of course, the injuries that they've had or niggles that they are recovering from. So a gym needs to be well equipped to handle all of this. The Indian team have discarded the hotel gym and taken a membership to a gym nearby so that the players can carry out their routines and schedule their workouts accordingly. This comes right after their disappointment over the pitches on offer in New York. Though the venue has been providing thrillers, just not the high-scoring kinds, the one that T20 cricket fans have been witnessing so far. There's more. There are close to zero facilities for the media and crew covering the teams and the net sessions. In fact, the Indian squad has been making sure that they provide food for the media that is out there covering their long net sessions and press conferences. But the Good Samaritan deeds will not extend to their opposition today, especially today, when it almost feels like two Indian teams going face-to-face, an India A versus India B. I mean, India taking on USA at Nassau. Pardon this, but I had to go for it. I'm sure fans who are coming to watch the game will be torn as to who to support. But social media never disappoints when it comes to the memes that this face-off obviously has already started generating. So what is USA up to, and more importantly, who are the Indian origin players in the USA squad? Of course, I have to start off with the captain Monank Patel. He's Ahmedabad born, played under 16 and under 18 for Gujarat. Of course, moved to New Jersey in 2016 after he got the green card and took over captaincy just some years back in 2021. Next up, Harmeet Singh. He played, of course, the 2012 Under-19 World Cup. And he caught Chappell's eye there. He was part of the 2013 Rajasthan squad as well, but decided to shift to the US after no big break in India. He's been a constant performer since then. Next up, Nostush Kenjige. He's a Tamil American, tried moving up the ranks in cricket in Karnataka, but with no luck. He felt defeated, left for the US in 2015, thinking his cricket chapter was over. In fact, didn't even carry his cricketing gear. His mother snuck in a cricket ball in his bag, got a job in Washington, of course, and when he came to know of club cricket in the US, he got drawn back to the sport, and of course, there was no looking back. Next up, Milind Kumar, a gun fielder for USA. He was part of the Ranji Trophy circuit via Delhi State as well as Sikkim, where he shifted. Again, not a break anywhere. Post-pandemic, he migrated to the US and got to represent the national side. Jasdeep Singh. Now, he was brought up in rural Punjab, had to do the hard yards, but when he was 13, he went back to the US. He worked his way up from the USA divisional teams to get to the national side. And of course, we all know of Saurabh Netravalkar. So even though there will be a sense of familiarity and a feeling of home when the two sides clash, the intensity will be top-notch. A win means qualification in this Super 8s for either of these teams. Now, I know one side who will be watching this one very, very closely, and that will be Pakistan. India's Football World Cup hopes were crushed after losing to Qatar 1-2, and with Kuwait winning against Afghanistan, India have been knocked out of the World Cup qualifiers. But was it Qatar's brilliance that knocked out India, or Kuwait's victory? I say neither, not entirely anyway. But before we get to that, let me set this one up for you. It was a must-win game for India if they wanted to progress to the next round, and they were up against arguably the best Asian side. But that didn't bother India. The team came out confident, dominating the field. Lalianzuala Changte opened the scoring for India in the 37th minute. At one stage, it looked like India were going to go home. But as the clock ticked on, an incident changed the course of the game. There was a scrum near the goal post. It felt like the Indian goalkeeper had done enough to stop the equalizer. The ball was out of play, but in a flash, the ball somehow found its way back into the net. A goal was announced and everyone was shocked. The Indian players were outraged. Now, let me show you exactly what happened in that minute.
Wow. And surely, somebody
The
has
goal
to
from
see this.
Yousef Aymen
That goal has
sparked a lot of controversy there. Because if you see it clearly, before the goal was scored, that ball is outside the line. The ball had clearly gone past the line of play. After that, it was pulled back in by a Qatari player, passed it off to a second, who nudged it across and tapped it into the net. South Korean referee Kim Woo-sung awarded the goal to Qatar. So what do the rules really say here? Once the ball is out of the line of play, the play needs to be halted. Play will only resume with either a corner kick or a goal kick. Last touch, of course, decides which of it. Since the last touch was from India's captain Gurpreet Singh Sandhu, Qatar would have gotten a corner kick. But since the referee didn't blow the whistle, the play continued and Qatar equalized. Gurpreet Sandhu and the Indian team, of course, protested vehemently. They were angry and upset, but referee Woo-sung upheld his decision.
And has it rolled in somehow, and the referee says, and it is a goal from Qatar. Gurpreet Singh Sandhu personally moving into.
Was India done in by the referee? Yes. Now, could this issue have been resolved right then? Yes, but only if there had been a video assistant referee or VAR. The second round of the World Cup qualifiers does not have VAR. So the decision taken by ground officials is what we had to live by. And that's where the Indian team lost the match. Had there been VAR, it would have clearly shown the ball was out of the line of play. But even without VAR, my question is, how could the referee miss that? How could that have been allowed? Even with the naked eye, it's clearly seen outside the line of play. I saw it, you can see it. Only one person did not, and that was the referee. Even if the referee missed it, what about the assistant referee? It was clearly in his line of sight. That was a shocking error in judgment that cost India a game, that cost India a chance to fight for a spot at the World Cup. Because any team would have been gutted at that moment. It would have been difficult to gather thoughts, get back into the zone, get back into match action. The second goal by Qatar was purely a result of momentum. Momentum going in favor of one team, Qatar, and against the other, India. India, of course, is angry and they're not taking this lying down. Reports suggest that the Indian Football Federation, AIFF, has demanded an investigation into the matter. They've lodged a complaint against the match commissioner, and it's not just the AIFF. India head coach Igor Stimac isn't holding back too.
Qatar team was luckier tonight, especially because they came back from 1-0 with irregular goal. I can confirm that now because I have just seen the replay. The whole goal was over the line and the goal was given. So it's something which shouldn't be happening in today's football because that goal changed everything in this game. It's kind of an injustice to my boys tonight because we were very close to win this game and make sure qualifying to the third round.
And it wasn't just the Indian contingent that were in dismay. Fans were heartbroken and there was outrage that followed. They were also quick to criticize, blame and point fingers, accusing the referee here of favouring Qatar. This isn't the first time refereeing decisions have come under scrutiny. In the recently concluded AFC Asian Cup, similar refereeing blunders were called out and no prizes for guessing which team won the tournament, hosts Qatar. Now, human error happens. That is why we always talk about technology always stepping in and getting beefed up, because just yesterday we spoke about another human error over in cricket and at a World Cup, possibly costing a team a game, 2 crucial points. This horrible oversight by the on-field referee last night in the India versus Qatar football game is absolutely inexcusable. The match, of course, is done. India has lost. There are no ifs and buts, yes, but this was a truly golden chance. India playing their first game without their talismanic captain, Sunil Chhetri, would have come out wearing their hearts on their sleeves and playing out of their skin. They owed it to the legend and to the Indian football legacy under him. To let that slip away because of a blatant error only reflects poorly on the integrity and the ethics of the authorities involved. It tarnishes the qualifiers and the game. Slovenia, Spain, and then America. It's not a traveller, but surely a journeyman. In fact, we're going to speak about a European who's out owning a sport that America has mastered. Our story today is centered around NBA, but one superstar. It's about the rise of Dallas Mavericks point guard, Luka Doncic, a Slovenian by birth, a Real Madrid product, and now the MVP of Dallas Mavericks. And all of that at just 25. Doncic is part of that Europe brigade that includes Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who are taking their American dream to the next level. But what makes Doncic different from the rest? What does he bring to the table? Here's a report.
The Dallas Mavericks may be trailing in the NBA Finals against the Boston Celtics, but the Mavericks haven't lost hope yet, because they have Luka Doncic in the setup. And with the Slovenian in the team, it's not over until he says so. Because Doncic played despite being unwell in the second game, he had to take injections so that he could be there on the court for his team. And that's how the character of Doncic has been. The 25-year-old just doesn't give up. Even during playoffs, the Mavericks faced similar situations, but it was Doncic's brilliance that brought them back in the series. The same Doncic will need to step up once again. But where does this attitude come from? Maybe it's down to the Real Madrid roots, not as a footballer, but while playing for Madrid's basketball team in the EuroLeague. In 2012, a 13-year-old Doncic signed a 5-year contract with Real Madrid, and by 2018, he was a star. We all know the Real Madrid mentality. They know how to win, and his Real Madrid connect is still going strong. Not too long ago, he met Madrid president Florentino Perez during an NBA game. Clearly, once a Madrista, always a Madrista. But this is the reason behind Doncic's never giving up attitude and taking that Madrid mentality onto the NBA. The same Doncic landed in America in 2018, a European coming over to America to live his American dream, to not just make up the numbers but create a legacy like none other. Here's the catch though. His destination wasn't always the Dallas Mavericks. He was slated to go to the Atlanta Hawks, but the Mavericks saw the potential and he was traded to the club. He started his career with a yearly salary of around $6.5 million, and it has multiplied and gone up to 6 times now. And if reports are to be believed, Doncic is eligible to sign a contract that will earn him close to $70 million yearly, which is the highest in NBA history. It's an extension he can only sign next year. But that's how big a star Doncic truly is. For the past 5 seasons, Doncic has been an NBA All-Star starter. He has also been in the All-NBA First Team for the past 5 seasons. He was the NBA Rookie of the Year in 2019 and also the FIBA World Cup top scorer in 2023. And who knows, with the contract extension, we might see a different beast in the coming seasons. He's on the cusp of making history in terms of the contract, but amid all this, what drives him are the victories. Reaching the NBA Finals won't be his endgame, he wants more. Because if anyone has done it in the NBA after a 2-0 deficit, it's the Mavericks. In 2005 and 2001, they beat the Jazz and the Rockets to reach the conference semi-finals. In 2022, they beat the Phoenix Suns in 7 games to advance to the conference finals. And Doncic was part of the team for this one. He's done it before and he will look to do it again. But this time the stakes are much higher. But is any challenge too daunting for Doncic?
Time for last serve. The excitement around Euros is of course building up, and while Germany is gearing up as hosts, a street in Netherlands too isn't being left behind. To show support to their national side, the streets turned orange. Take a look. We'll, of course, be reviewing and previewing, in fact, building up to the Euros right here on Firstpost. Today, though, wraps up the show. Thanks for joining in. I'll see you again tomorrow.